China expert Michael Pillsbury joins us now. Michael, I think you heard the news that was just breaking there. Reliable sources in Taiwan say that the speaker will be there on Tuesday night. You think she should go?
Yes, I think she should go. The leak to the Financial Times, Stuart, is what triggered all this and triggered the Chinese reaction. China's been having military exercises to scare Taiwan for at least the last 3 years. That's included nuclear-capable bombers flying around the island. It's included exercises at sea, a series of other threats. So the escalation possibility is certainly there. I don't laugh at the Chinese threats. I think there could be an accident where these two forces, Taiwan's jet fighters and ships and the mainland's, somehow interact, and China then tries to blame it, stage an incident, and then blame it on Taiwan. So I think it's a cause for great concern. I think it is breakthrough news. Greg's source is telling something very important from Taiwan, that she is coming and will stay there overnight. It's not just an airport visit.
So what should the American military do? She's going. She'll be there on Tuesday night into Wednesday. The Chinese military authorities will presumably respond militarily. What should we do militarily?
Well, our problem is a long-term issue, Stuart. 40 years ago, we gave up quite a few things to defend Taiwan. We don't have any ammunition stockpiled there. We have no U.S. forces. We don't have joint exercises with the Taiwan military. We took the nuclear weapons out in 1974. We closed the Taiwan Defense Command, where we had joint planning with Taiwan. We have none of that now. So if the Chinese threats and exercises are real tomorrow and Wednesday, then it's time for Congress and the president to review these decisions 40 years ago, where we basically left Taiwan as a sitting duck for 40 years. If the Chinese really are going to make serious threats, we've got to revisit this whole one China policy and all the self-imposed restrictions we've had, especially in the military area. Xi Jinping cannot want that. So he's got to be concerned that the Americans might get much tougher and end Taiwan's sitting duck status and start really trying to take deterrence measures. That's what Xi Jinping should be worried about himself.
What about the tariffs which we impose on China and their exports to us? Could we... are these tariffs now subject to some kind of negotiation in light of Pelosi's visit?
Well, the trade talks are going on. The Biden administration, thank God, they've supported the entire Phase 1 deal that the Chinese signed and have not implemented. The Biden team wants to go on to Phase 2 and attack the subsidies, other Chinese violations of their WTO agreement. So that's making progress. Still secret what actually is happening. But if the two issues get mixed together, the economics and trade issue gets mixed together with the chances of war and our improving Taiwan's deterrence status, then it's going to cause an overall deterioration in our relations with China, Stuart. That's going to affect the market, I'm afraid.
Are you worried about the possibility of an accident, an accidental hit between China and Taiwan forces? That really worries you, right?
Yes, I'm very worried about that. It's kind of out of control of the heads of state involved. But I'm also worried about what Nancy Pelosi actually says publicly. Mike Pompeo was very bold on his trip. He alluded to it. He offered Taiwan to have formal diplomatic relations with the United States. He said that was his personal view. Taiwan did not respond. They're a little bit embarrassed, I think, by such a generous offer. But suppose Nancy Pelosi says something similar, that the one China policy really is now obsolete. That's really going to poke the eye of the dragon and lead to the possibility of an accident or some other step that otherwise could have been avoided. But I support Nancy Pelosi going there. I just hope she shared her remarks with some China experts who know what she should be saying and not saying.
Indeed.
Stuart.
Michael Pillsbury, welcome back to the show. We've not seen you for a long time, but great to have you back again. I hope to see you again soon in the near future. Thank you, Michael.